Hello and good evening. This is Angela R. Sasser. Welcome to my evening stream where I'll be working on some art live. And for those who missed last stream, I've been working on a set of sticker designs from my Birthstone inspired Art Nouveau series. So the last stream we finished up this gal, the little gym goddess of August. She came out pretty cool, I'm excited. But now that the fall gals are finished, I wanted to go back and finish up the spring goddesses. I skipped ahead to the fall goddesses because I wanted to get the sticker designs ready for my upcoming Kickstarter. Speaking of which, I got a couple of plugs to share with you guys before we get started on work. So, recently, for a limited time, if you like this coloring page here, you can get it for free when you sign up to be notified about my upcoming Kickstarter. You can sign up at summergoddesses.angelicshades.com, and I'll drop that link in the chat. But once you sign up, you'll get notices about the Kickstarter's launch of my enamel pins that are inspired by this same series, as well as a free coloring page, this particular coloring page right here. So check it out. She'll only be free until the launch day, June 21st, the first day of summer. I'm so hyped for it. Since last stream, I've actually revealed the second of the 3 pins that are going to be kickstarted on June 21st. So I wanted to share them real fast. We got the June pin here, inspired by the gym goddess of June, who has pearls and roses as her symbols. Then you have Lady of July's pin design here, and I think, don't tell her sisters, but I think she's my favorite. She's my favorite of the designs so far. And I'm just so excited to have revealed her. She was revealed yesterday. And then next week, I'll drop the design for the last pin, the Lady of August pin. And then all 3 of them will be up on Kickstarter on June 21st. So, of June and July, I'd love to know which ones you guys like best. It's always cool to hear what designs you guys jive with. So that's my plug. Let me drop it in the chat. Sign up for the coloring page and art and Kickstarter notifications at http://. Alright, so you guys can sign up there. Ooh, let me make sure I drop this in the right chat. Too many chats. All the chats. And then I also wanted to share the webpage for the Gym Goddesses because they have their own dedicated site. And I wanted to specifically share Lady of April since she's the goddess I'll be working on tonight with her sticker design, which is here. I already laid in the flats for her from a previous stream, and tonight I'll be rendering her up to the level of detail that we got here on the little Gym Goddess of August. But if you want to see more of the Lady of April, you can explore her gallery here. And there's lots of fun stuff in there, like you can see the little image scroller on the bottom of my stream showing you sketches and studies that I did while I was doing her painting here. And you can go see them larger on my website and just kind of browse the videos and read more about her symbolism and such. So she's my goddess of daisies and diamonds, since that's the birthstone and birth flower for April. And she also has a connection with Demeter, as she has a festival during this month. So she has a lot of light and growth themes going on. So you should check that out. And explore more of the galleries if you like. But I've delayed work enough. Drop her in a window and Let's get to drawing. So I like to keep the previous one up to remind me of what style I'm going for here. And you can see there's just between these two that I drew Lady of April, the little gem goddess of April. I drew her much earlier on. So they got more complex as I went along with this series. So I don't expect this one will take as long as the Little Gem Goddess of August did. She had a lot of background elements, but April here's pretty simple. She's got her little tree. She's got her little tree and her hair. That's about it. So this one ought to be an easy night. So let's dive in. And for the record, I am using Adobe Photoshop CC and also a Wacom Cintiq 21UX. It's a bit of an oldie by now, but I love it. Even though it's an older piece of equipment, it is my faithful companion. So just a reminder, if you guys want to leave me any questions, I'll be chatting on the mic, so I can just answer them for you here while I'm working, when I look up. So give me questions, give me stuff to talk about. Otherwise, I'm just gonna ramble, and because I can ramble for a long time, you guys. Yeah, I'm hyped for that Kickstarter. Still doing behind the scenes work on it, like graphic design stuff and making sure that it's gonna be super pretty. So I can't wait to share it. I have so many pretty things to show you. Aw, Lady of April's so cute. She just has like this sweet little face. I think I might actually mask out the top and bottom border of the lips because they look a little strange, and while they work with the line art for, say, if this is going to be a coloring page, which it will be, or rather it is, we don't need those lines there to show off the softness. And I'm also going to mask out the nose, since stylistically we've gone for soft noses, soft implied noses. So let's do that. It's funny how popular this lady is too. Like, I love all of my brain children, but I feel like this one I don't like as much as some of the fall ladies, because fall is my favorite season. So spring, well, I also enjoy spring. Fall is where my heart is. So it was a challenge to get these spring goddesses working, but I think I managed it. Considering a lot of people seem to identify with this gal. Ooh, and let's put the brush transfer on so I can get some opacity in these strokes. And that's basically just letting me control the opacity and flow of my brush by how hard I press. So that lets me get some nice blending and painterliness to my strokes. Which I prefer the softer lips, which I want to say I did with the Little Gem Gal of February. So I'm going to pull her up and see how I handled the lips on that one. Yeah, I went with like soft lips with a soft highlight, and even her nose has got like a highlight on it, so. Seems my spring girls have soft, plushy lips. Which is a weird coincidence I didn't plan for. And I'm just masking out the lines, so they're not actually being destroyed. Which preserves the line art for other purposes, should I need it. Always favor non-destructive methods when I can do them. So let's make this a real soft edge here. So I hope everyone's having a good week so far. We haven't flooded anymore, so knock on wood there. I'm trying to think, do I like it with that upper lip gone completely? You draw it in and then kind of test run whether I want it in there or not. Then using a speckled smudge brush to soften my blending. You just keep layering this if you want like a non-directional blending. And already I don't like the color choice for the shadow, but we can tweak that after the fact, so I'm not too worried about getting that color exactly right now. Just softening the shadow as it gets farther away. And then the shadow sharpens as it gets, as the distance between the hair and the forehead is less. But yeah, hope everyone's having a good week. This year's flying by way too fast, though. Thought I had more time for a lot of projects that I wanted to work on, but then all the deadlines seem to be happening this month. So let's zoom out and see. Nah, this is like a weird mustache. We're gonna take away that upper lip. Upper lip shadow, you weird. This can be smaller. And softer. I think I want to make it softer. I must have colored on the wrong layer. Or the mask has not worked. There we go. Excuse me. Yeah, it looks better with a softer. She does have a very Funko face, doesn't she? Hey, Psyche, good to see ya. Soften the shadow a little too much, I think. How goes the Proko classes? Do you get a chance to spend any more time with them? Hell, I need to get back to it myself. So I'm trying to think of where the cast shadows would be if the light's coming from above. Since I have kind of a global lighting going on here. Global lighting sort of above, shining down. So there's a highlight here on her forehead, because I always like to have the face in, face in good light. Yeah, it's been a, no, it's been a busy week with everything going on. Hope everybody's still healing up. I think her ears would be totally in shadow. So before I get any further, I am going to tweak with the color temperature on this. Probably end up going more purpley with the shadow as I usually do. And we're just going to do that with the hue slider, my favorite function. That takes some of the murky gray out of the skin. And that's what makes skin look muddy if you don't have colors that kind of resonate with each other. Well, I'm glad no one's had any other surprises as far as injuries go. Sometimes stuff pops up after an accident that you weren't expecting, so y'all are my thoughts. But I'm glad you can join me tonight. Hope you can relax and enjoy the stream and my soothing voice and my new age music. I could use a study buddy with Prokos, so if later on when everything is calmed down and you want to trade homework or something, I'd totally be game for that. Otherwise, I will just keep avoiding my Prokos studies. Okay, let's turn off Steam notifications. Ah, Steam. That tiefling sounds like fun. Actually, I'm just biased towards tieflings now that I've played one for as long as I have. They're just a really cool race, and one of the expanded books starts with a Z. One of the expanded handbooks has this cool notion that they have different bloodlines from the different circles of the Inferno. It's pretty cool. Just gonna soften up some of these rounder areas, like where her arm cheese is. Oh, randomly I saw the cutest things. So, I have a husband who loves Godzilla. And so I have friends who love Godzilla too, and I keep seeing the cutest art of human Godzilla and Mothra in chibi style, and it's so cute. They made Godzilla like this angry, kind of chubbier guy, and Mothra is this cute girl with like moth antennae and white hair. Okay, so why is it this coloring? I think it overlapped with the hair. Yeah, I did. You can see where up close my blending is not very perfect. But honestly, when these are going to be in sticker form, so I've been very precise with them, to be honest. Let's see. There's like a really small line that's overlapping the skin here too. But is it because the hair is overlapping, or is the skin not colored there? Let's see. I doubt people will be able to see this from far away though. Whoops. Yeah, the skin didn't quite touch the border there. I say as I say, I'm not being very precise, but I gotta fix this one weird line. And that subtle line around the outline comes from when you're using the smart wand to select an area, but then you don't expand that selection by like 1 pixel. Because I noticed with the smart select, it'll leave that border sometimes. Like it's not going flush with the edge, so you have to expand the selection or it just isn't a clean selection. Wish I could remember the name of the artist who did the Godzilla thing, like, off the top of my head. Alright, let's do... like all I called that layer gold! Because Austin Powers is one of my favorite movies. I just watched it again the other day. It still never gets old. He's so dumb. Let's see, I think I am gonna shade around the... I want to darken the eyelids. I'm just gonna talk to myself till I figure out what I want to do. I watched a pretty cool movie this week. I had it on in the background while I was doing a lot of graphic design, because graphic design is one of those like mind-numbing duties that I don't really like, but until I can hire my own personal graphic designer, I am the sole graphic designer on the Kickstarter projects. So that makes being able to put movies on the background my best friend. So I put her on a random movie just to entertain me. So I put on Netflix a movie called I Am Mother. And I was actually pretty intrigued by it. So the premise is that humans have gone extinct, and in this hidden away bunker you have a robot who's in charge of repopulating humanity, because in this bunker they've managed to save embryos. So the robot's just raising up this girl whose name is Daughter and trying to teach her how to be, teach her how to be a functioning human, I guess. And of course there are twists and turns. It's a thriller, basically. So you're trying to learn during this movie what happened to humans, and is Mother good or bad? Because, we're always suspicious of AIs. And it was actually a pretty heartfelt movie. I also found myself thinking of Horizon Zero Dawn, since there's kind of a related scenario in that, but I won't go into detail for people who haven't played it too much. I don't want to spoil too much for them. But the visions of the future are kind of similar-ish in a way. So that's what made me want to watch it, because I'm like, a servitor robot raising humans. There's a related thread in Horizon Zero Dawn, but again, I won't elaborate too much on it for those who want to be totally surprised. But I liked it. Cinematography was really lovely, and for what felt like a lower budget sci-fi made for Netflix, was actually pretty good. Like, it didn't feel too low budget, and I enjoyed the plot. So, do you recommend? I like it when I can be surprised, because the last time we took a chance on a Netflix movie, it was the Cloverfield Paradox, which was an amazing premise. It was basically what would happen if, playing with science, you created a parallel universe and you existed in a space where they were sort of overlapping one another, and had this awesome premise of it almost being like a ghost movie. Like, there were ghosts or figments that felt ghostly, but they were just echoes of the other dimension layered on top of the dimension that we're in with the characters in the movie, but it just kind of misses the mark. Wow, this became a review channel. I like movies. I like movies a lot. What is this line? I can see where I had some sloppy overlaps. Those I do want to fix, just in case they show up in the printing of the stickers. So let's fix those sloppy overlaps. Let's see, I think that one's the gold layer. Yep. That's number one of throwing my stylus for no good reason. The the gold and her skin tone are so similar. I'm having a hard time, like, seeing it. My eyes aren't the best with hue separation. I know, funny enough for an artist, right? That hue test I kind of didn't do spectacularly on. But I still managed to make the colors do the thing, so... Guess I'm doing okay. Alright, got those overlaps. Alright. Oh, in other news, I also love video games, so I've been really excited about a lot of stuff they're showing for E3. They gave a teaser of Breath of the Wild 2, which I didn't play myself, but I watched my husband play it, and I adored the artistry of it. The game is just beautiful, and the aesthetic is like Art Deco and Indian, Buddhist. It's very interesting, and I really gotta get that art book sometime. And I'm really hoping that maybe the second one will be co-op. Like, maybe I can play Zelda and she does magic and stuff. I think that would be awesome. And then Final Fantasy VIII Remake. And of course the Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's looking really gorgeous as well. The graphical update is so nice. And that was like my first ever JRPG. That might have been my first RPG ever, if not counting the old Zelda games, which I kind of failed at. I never beat. I think it was Zelda 2 was my first actual RPG, and I just sucked. I couldn't beat it. It was too hard. So my, what was I talking about? First RPG was that I can think of right now was Final Fantasy VII. I'm laughing at the internet reaction though. They're like, a whole new generation of people get to thirst over Sephiroth. Yeah, he was one of my like evil crushes back in high school. God, I was drawing fan art back in high school. And this game is like old. Oh, E3 is just gonna make me feel old for the rest of my life because they're gonna keep remaking my childhood. I keep messing with the highlights here because I feel like there'd be a little light. Maybe not, because her hair would cast a lot of things in shadow, perhaps. And her giant head. Her giant head would probably actually cast a shadow like over her shoulder, and now that I think about it. Giant bobblehead. Oh gosh, I need to play Chrono Cross. I always start it, I get to the island where you find the gravestone, and then I just freaking stop. And I try to come back and play it, and I'm like, I don't remember what I was doing, and then I just end up playing all over again. It is like, the game is like Groundhog Day for me. But the soundtrack is so gorgeous. Like, I need to play that game just for the soundtrack alone. But I did play Chrono Trigger. I don't think I ever beat it, though. That one was a lot of fun. I loved the battle system in that one. Let's see, is transfer on? Yes. Yeah, I've been told what happens, and it is like it's a trippy game. Kevin's played it too. And I'm sure there's probably like YouTube playthroughs I could play, but that's one I'd like to... talking about Chrono Cross and Chrono Trigger. But all the games and the mini games and stuff were like really fun, so it's probably one I'll play myself. But yeah, speaking of characters who were formative for us, that was probably Vincent for me, because I was such a goth girl back in high school. Like, Vincent was my favorite. Like, dark, mysterious, goth man, vampire. That is my high school self right there. So I'm very curious to see what they'll do with him in the remake. Yay, breaking my computer with Smudge! Let me save before I totally mess up the whole thing. Well, come to think of it, I never finished Final Fantasy VIII either. I think I saw a friend finish it, even though I played a good deal of it myself. So I'm kind of hyped about the remake of that one, because, like, maybe I'll finally finish Final Fantasy VIII. Because that was one of the most gorgeous Final Fantasies. Like, the character designs, the cutscenes. And I think the intro for that one is still one of the coolest Final Fantasy games. I forgot the name of that cool song that plays, but I think that the chorus is like Vithos and Vinoses. My friend does a really funny bad lip reading of it that is hilarious, where he says it's Eat at Joe's. And now I can never unhear Eat at Joe's when I'm listening to that song. Thanks, Nick. If you ever are listening, it's all your fault. You have ruined dramatic song for me, but it's still beautiful. You know, I didn't like 9 at first because of the art style, but it grew on me. It was actually really fun to play. I need to finish playing that one too. I got to like the Dragoons town and then I stopped playing. The cool dragon chick, I forget her name. But I remember that she was a Lancer, that was like her class. Yay, shiny, shiny hairs. Making sure the shadow is the deepest here behind her, because that's where there's not a lot of light coming through. Trying to think, with the others, did I do a white flare for the hair? I don't think I did. I think I did in August actually, just a little bit. I put a little bit of white highlighting, which is a very anime-ish stylistic element. Some of them I don't think I did because they had things shadowing their hair. Let's see, what did I do with July? I did have some. Okay. So let's put some highlighting. Actually, I'll do the highlighting after I do some blush, because then I can add some little highlighting to her face too. Oh my gosh, they sell blank custom pop figures, and it would be so fun to make these gals as pop figures. But I still haven't finished the pop figures I tried to make of my original characters from Song of Exile, so I should really finish that first before I ever take on making custom pop figures of these gals. No matter how fun it would be, I must resist. I need to stop blending. I'm over blending. Alright, let's add a blush to her lips and her cheeks, since I gave all of the chibi ladies some cute blushy cheeks. Where does she nose? Looks so clowny. Just erasing around to bring a shape back to the lips instead of having it just be like a weird smear of pink. But I think I'm gonna leave her without any makeup. She feels like a more natural gal. No, don't take a break. Ugh, I guess I should take a break. Real quick stretch break. If I could stop coloring. I just finished this cheek, computer. No, computer. Okay, let me save and take a little stretch break here because I've been bad. Today I did not take a stretch break while I was doing all this graphic design stuff, and I'm already feeling it in my shoulders and my neck. So let's stretch. Moving your shoulders. Yeah, stretchy. I've definitely been looking at the screen too long today. In fact, I'm surprised this thing isn't telling me, "Get the heck off the computer, Angela. You've been staring at it for hours." Because it has like a max hours that you can plug in, and I've told it to kick me off if I've worked too much. That's the one that breaks your chair, so fair warning if you're doing these stretches with me that will break your chair. Okay, we're not gonna do the whole break because that would be boring for you guys, so I will take a walk after the stream. Okay, so excuse me. Now we can do some highlighting. Actually like how I did the lips on this one. Let's see if I can replicate that success. Just kind of the two main segments sort of blending off to that lip texture. Gonna smooth it out just a bit. Excuse me. Oh no, the yawns have begun. I apologize. So I'm like I'm on the third to last quest from the end of Dragon Age Inquisition. So I'm kind of hyped. It's probably what I'm gonna do after I finish my stream is go and try and beat the game. Famous Last Words because I've been trying to beat it for a long time now, and I just keep getting distracted by cool new places to explore. But they're so cool. Like earlier I was exploring this one level that's all at nighttime, and it's this beautiful desert that's all starlit, and there are these ancient ruins popping up through the sand. It's so pretty. So I both love it and hate it because it's like, when you open the map, it's like, ugh, this is so much to do still. I'll never be done. But then also, ooh, new pretty places. Actually, let me use the blur tool on this one. Or I could just blur it with the Gaussian blur tool too. That works. Or filter. There we go. Better. There we go. Smushy cheeks. In fact, I'm thinking I might go back to February's and bring a little more shape to her cheeks. Actually, I'm gonna do that real fast. Not her cheeks, but her lips are a bit weird. Bring a little more shape back to them. That's all they need. Voilà. Et voilà. Alright, what's next? The eyes! So her eyes are diamond. And that's difficult because diamonds are white and rainbow and kind of all colors. So I think in the original painting, let's see. Just kind of made them lavender with a hint of color shift into blue. Like that's why I did the border like I did. It's all yellows and blues and purples. Though the mask, which you can see in the slider, once that mask comes up, the mask that I made for this series is so pretty, you guys. It's done with white paint, and then I put blue interference paint on top of the white layer, so it has this really amazing color shift in the light. I think the mask was the most successful expression of Lady of April. I see something I want to fix. So other thing I would love to see remade is the second RPG I ever played and got really into was Xenogears. Xenogears is still like my favorite RPG. I tried to play it again though, and it was really boring because you can't control the speed of the dialogue boxes and the NPCs go on forever, and I'm like, how did I have the patience for this when I was a kid? It's so hard to get back into these old games sometimes. Yeah, I liked Xenogears because it was just this weird story about. It was just intriguing. There's this mystery from the outset where you meet this dude in a village, this main character dude, martial artist or whatever, and you come upon this mech in the ruins around his village, and you meet this person who's like, that's the mech that will destroy God. And I'm like, what the hell is this game on? That's so weird that I have to keep playing more. And it had these beautifully animated 2D anime style cutscenes. Okay, the shadow is a little too strong, but I can quickly fix that. I'm gonna fix that in a second. For now, I'm just gonna finish shading. I'm wondering why I'm getting a white border. Oh, I think I know why. I think the line is still there on the line layer, but I'll fix that in a second. Smoothing out the lines. Xenogears was also one of the first games I had ever played at that time when I was young that had basically addressed a main character with mental illness. So the main character had a mental illness, but I won't say which one for those who still want to play it sometime, but it was kind of a surprise. I just had never seen that kind of storytelling in JRPGs at that point. Alright, so the eye whites are a little too dark, so we're gonna lighten the color up. Gotta fix that white line. Interesting. I guess I didn't draw the pupils large enough. So we're just gonna enlarge it to cover. Take off snap. Oops. The battle system in Xenogears was also really cool. Was semi-action, so you could create these combos, and as you did like a light, medium, hard punch, kick, or whatever, each character had their own combos that they could learn, and it did various things or activated various abilities. It was just a lot of fun. Because I'm not a huge turn-based fan. I thought turn-based was just boring, but I suffered through because the stories were so good in a lot of these JRPGs that had turn-based systems. I know, I'm savage. If Kevin is listening, he's listening to this stream right now. He's probably in the other room calling his wife a savage. Oops. I've always been more of an action RPG fan. So stuff like Parasite Eve, that was another great one I loved. I'm really, really hoping they're going to redo that one. Which I've heard rumors that they're thinking about it. Like the company has filed a trademark for it, or a copyright or something for more Parasite Eve, and that would be awesome. Because it's basically like weird, superpowered chicks with mitochondria powers destroying New York City, and it's amazing. And everyone should play it. It's kind of this hidden gem that I think is pretty underrated. Yay! I could sit here and smooth this stuff. It's like therapeutic just to sit here and smooth the shading out. Shading. Alright, let's do those eyes. Pupil eyes, pupil shadows. Ugh. So I think what I'll do is I'll just do the same kind of lavender color shifts. Or lavender to blue color shifts. Let's put transfer back on so we can get that opacity going. So the other thing I've had on while I'm doing soul-sucking graphic design work is I was watching Lucifer on Netflix, and I'm so happy that show got picked up by Netflix. It pretty much just continues on with the same, like it's just the same show. They didn't change it. I think they're just like, y'all just keep doing what you're doing, which is really awesome of Netflix because it's fun as is. Let's see. I'm gonna look at August eyes for reference because I think I did a good job with her eyes. Yeah, Lucifer is just a fun, silly show, and it's so dumb. But I just really love how dumb it is. It's silly and it knows it. And it makes me want to finish reading the Lucifer comics, which I know they're pretty significantly different from what little I've read. But it's still pretty fun. Just, the Lord of Hell is a nightclub owner, and that's just one of those premises that's just fun. Alright, so let me work in some more of that color shifting as well. Let's see. Get some shocks of purple in here. And I think maybe a little more saturated blue or teal ought to do the trick. Just have all the colors in her eyes. Just like diamonds. Like the best diamonds are the rainbow diamonds. Those are considered the best quality diamonds. So if you're new in the chat, feel free to say hi. And let me know if you have any questions. I'll answer them when I look up. Alright, next step for these. Oh, I hate when I do that. Stop that. Next step is to put a little outline. That outline just helps her eyes be very striking. You want them to get attention. Or at least I do anyways. So now we can go back to this highlight layer and see where do we want some highlights in here. She'll have all the highlights, all the specular highlights in here since she's diamond. And diamond's gotta glitter, right? She'll have like those crazy elf eyes that they gave Galadriel in the Lord of the Rings movies. They lit her eyes with so many lamps that they had all the highlights in them. It was crazy. Although I see a problem with the shape of that pupil on the right that I cannot ignore. It's thinning out too much here at the top. So, must fix. Easy to fix, I hope. Okay. Better, better. Oop, wrong layer. Crap. Okay. Right layer. All better. Now we're just gonna tweak. Actually, I'm gonna darken the outline here on the bottom of her eye. It kind of fades out too much for my liking. I'm just gonna lighten them up because I want them to read more as diamonds, and I think they're too dark as is. I kind of like this like brilliant glow they have with higher contrast. That's kind of interesting. But we're gonna try the hue slider as well. But without making her look blind, which is the same kind of trouble I had with Pearl as well. In fact, let's see how I handled that problem with Pearl. Now, Pearl had the sort of warmer gray eyes. But also the color shifts, which I think sold that. Yeah, I think I like the eyes as is. With the hue slider. Ooh, excuse me. But I'm just gonna mask out the outline. So that way the outline stays dark. Like so. Yay, masks, you are my best friend. Non-destructive editing, my friends. Okay, I like it, I like it. That reads more as diamond to me, that kind of brilliant glow. I hope I can replicate that same look for the outside gems as well. So I have to remember what I just did. June came out rather nice. Okay, so what is next? What is next? That dress. Let's dive into that dress now, shall we? Well, you know, I think I'm going to change the dark outline around her eyes to match her hair color. I've started doing that with the ladies lately. Probably since the little gym gal of June here. So I did that with August. She has the dark outline of the hair instead of the brown outline of the skin. I think that's a nice subtle touch that works better. So let's do that real fast. Oh, good. I was like, yeah, I'll get this one done in an hour. That never happens. Okay, I like it. I think that works. So I'm gonna smooth out her lip line here because I feel like it's too thick on the right side there. It looks a little sloppy, especially on an important element like the face. Oh no, the yawns have started and now they will not stop. Oh, I was like, why isn't it erasing? Because I forgot to unlock the transparency. That explains it. There we go. Much better. Okay, now we can dive into this dress. So I think have shadow. Oh, that's the corset layer. So shadow here, shadow there. Whoop. Oh, if I could change colors. And flip the layer so it doesn't go out. Go outside the lines. Transfer back on as well. I think we'd have shadow here under the knee. And this color is a bit too dark, I think. I'm going to lighten it up since this is a delicate flowing cloth here and I don't want too much contrast in it. Oh, dirt. I was like, where's the corset? I apparently put it above the eyes. First, let's tweak that dress shadow before I get carried away with other elements. So again with the hue slider. And there we go, much more delicate. Now for the corset. I keep trying to add all the satiny textures to this, but really I have to imply that kind of thing since I don't want these to be too detailed. I want them to be just detailed enough and very readable and clear. So all the tiny reflections in satin aren't going to be a huge thing in this. I think if I could just imply enough of the panel texture here, that's all I need. Easy peasy. Alright, so next, let's paint some happy little tree. Or a happy little tree. I got off easy. Just put the one tree in this. Although I see some parts of the hair I must fix. You can see where I didn't color the hair, so there's some random white shapes in this. Tree. There's the tree. Or I overlapped the layers. Let's see, how did I color the tree in the original? I think I meant for the tree to be illuminated, Like it's a little glowy tree. So I'm going to color it the same way in the little gym version of her. Like it's lit from within by magical tree glow. And I think I said it earlier, but in case I didn't, another reason I went with a tree is because there are many Arbor Day festivals as well during April. I was surprised how many countries had Arbor Day festivals in April. Everybody wants to appreciate those trees in April, which is awesome. I'm glad so many people appreciate trees. And that's all we need. When something's glowing like this, you don't need to get too detailed with it, honestly. You don't want to make the happy little tree embarrassed. But I am gonna mess with the hue slider and see if I want it to be lighter, more saturated. And I think I'm gonna do what I did with the lanterns in Lady of August, which is I did a halo of light behind the lines and the colors of each one to help it stand out. So let's do a little aura here for the tree. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. Alright, so tree aura. Just easy and simple. We're gonna take a really saturated version. I might tweak the color temperature of this, but just laying in the shape right now. And then softening it with a Gaussian blur. Gaussian? I'm not actually sure how people are supposed to say that. And voila, we have our actually, I want to make that aura a little tighter without so much blur on it. Okay, more like that. We are going to change the temperature. And I'm also going to add just a hint of the light showing up on the elements nearby, which helps sell the light coming from the tree. And I did the same thing with the highlighting on Lady of August as well. And adding just a hint up here. I think I may extend the shadow. Or maybe I won't. Maybe just a hint in the chin here is all I need to sell that light glow right here. Okay. I can dig it. I like that the way it is. Oh, and you know, I forgot to put some highlighting in the hair, so let's take care of that. That little stylistic element that comes from anime. That just looks so good. Or at least I kind of absorbed this for my chibi style from anime. Because I always thought anime had the coolest hair. It's always very flowing and sparkly. Alright, that's all we need. Just a little bit of highlighting there to sell that anime look. And I don't think I'll do it anywhere but in the face here, as far as the figure goes, because I want everyone to be looking at her cute little face. Okay. What's next? What's next? We're almost done. April was way simpler. I had not gone insane yet. Let's do the flower stems. Actually, no, I see a little shadow needs to be on this corset panel. And I keep changing my mind about where I want the shading on the foot. There you go. Small tweak. But I notice okay, so next, flower stems. After Larkspur, I can paint any flowers. And these are just something that I keep very simple. Like, I just pluck out the ones that are in the background. And push forward some of the others, so there's some visual interest there. But it's also not too detailed or distracting. So trying to keep these somewhat simple. That's all we need. I've even possibly gotten too detailed already with these. And we'll do the same with the petals. And again, I don't want to get caught up in drawing every single daisy petal here, because then I'll be here for a long time. So I'm just trying to accent petals where I can. Just enough to make this visually interesting, have some basic shading so your imagination fills in the rest. Although I think this color is a little too dark again, so let's lighten it up. Still gotta do the daisies in her hair as well. Although they won't take much. I don't think the daisies up there need that much attention. I'm not gonna even create a shadow layer for them because they're so... just enough to imply that they're petals. Daisies are also so pretty. Like, I underestimated how much I actually like them because they come in all sorts of brilliant colors. That's another reason I went blue and lavender for this gal, because daisies come in a lot of beautiful blue and lavender colors, which I thought was so perfect for the birthstone of Diamond. And they kind of fit the property of Diamond being in so, like, reflecting so many colors. Alright, so... let's see if I can replicate what I did with her eyes in the border gems. How's that tiefling coming along, Psyche? I'm gonna cheat and color pick from her eyes. In fact, to make that easier, let's mirror this, shall we? It'll be hard to keep like shifting the zoom back and forth, so we're gonna put this extra window, have it on her eyes, and then I could shift away from the eyes in this other window. Boom! Yay, Photoshops. Bring some of this warm purple back in here. I just need to pop some of these shapes in here with a darker color. And the border gem should be about done. so maybe it's a kind of a purpley cloudy diamond. But I want it to match your eyes, so we're going with an artistic interpretation of a diamond for this one. Which I think my favorite artistic interpretation of a diamond has gotta be the diamonds from Steven Universe. If you haven't watched that show, the Diamond Authority are terrifying and awesome. And they've got some really clever character designs. I never thought I would say that diamonds are terrifying, but they nailed it. Alright, so now to do one of these gems over here. So I'm actually gonna cut these out of this layer, make them their own layer. Be easier to color that way, since I'm gonna copy and paste it. And I want to color pick from the top diamonds, or moving this one over here. Weird, so it's Gaussian? That's gonna really screw with my mind. I've been thinking it's been Gaussian for years now. Gaussian blur just sounds weird. No, computer, I'm almost done. Just give me a minute, computer. Of course, a minute is how I end up, like, not stretching all day like I did today. I wonder how he invented the blurry part, or if it's perhaps the blurry part, the filter name, unless it's perhaps some kind of theory of fragmentation, that the filter is named for, like mathematical fragmentation or some shit. I don't know. Interesting. So maybe this looks more like opal. But I likes it. I'm gonna keep it the way it is, I think. If I redo it later, it'll probably be like after this stream. So here's the other cool thing about this window trick. I like that it reflects what you're doing in the other window. It's really handy if you have to work on a separate monitor for any reason. Like, I used to have to do that because the color accuracy on my Cintiq wasn't the best, my old Cintiq. So I color checked on a second monitor that had better color accuracy, and that really helped me out. It's also a good idea, say, if you know, want to have a better sense of your composition, that the nav tool is not the right size, that you could have two different zoom levels here, like I've been doing to help color pick from one element while not having to shift my image around. Ugh, alright, fine. Suppose I'll take my stretch break before the end here. Because I've still got some tweaking I want to do. I'm not quite done yet, but we're almost there. Because I really want to go beat Dragon Age. But I think I'm going to lighten the shading in the skin because it's a little too dark. Ugh, did our AC turn off again? I am roasting over the Cintiq. Okay, yeah. I just caught up on the chat. Cool. That makes sense that it's a mathematical function. I just never thought about it before. The more you know. Excuse me. It's finally getting dark outside. Okay. I have stretched computer. That's a weird... Okay. What did I want to do? I want to fix that shadow. I'm snipply because I keep yawning. Okay, I need to fix up the shadows. A little too sloppy, even if I'm not being very precise. Okay. Well, I gotta finish copying and pasting the gym, too. I almost forgot about that. Need a touch more shading on this before I copy it, I think. Alright, that's better. Happy bedtime. Oh. Well, you know, one of these nights when I'm playing a game, I need to stream it because I think I have fun, or I think it might be fun to stream it. Maybe something where I'm not, there's less chance that I'm gonna wander around forever like Dragon Age, because it'll be really boring for me to sit here and obsessively collect herbs and run trade missions at a war table. So maybe something like Telltale Games where I can make some decisions and it's much more like watching an interactive movie. Or maybe if I can load up Fatal Frame, I'd love to show you Fatal Frame 4, but I don't know how to stream Wii U games. You'd really like the theme. It's like, ooh, I see parts of the dress that I see parts of the dress I need to fill in. I gotta sneeze. Oh, sneeze, come out. Oh, I can't do it. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so Fatal Frame 4. Maybe I did tell you about this, but it's all like Suicide Mountain themed, and there's these priestesses that help lost souls. It's very cool. Like, you tell them your sins so you could pass on peacefully. It's like, it's crazy, and it's all water themed because the sacrificial ceremony in this is to be drowned. It's freaky, so freaky. So the ghosts float as if they're drowning in water, and they have all this flowing hair, and I think maybe the director went a little too overboard because their kimonos are all clingy and stuff. It's a little sexy. I think it's a little sexier than it should have been. But it's still pretty cool. And then there's a wetness meter where the more you're wet, the more that the ghost can hurt you because the ghosts are attuned with water. I think the wetness meter was maybe a little overboard too. The director's kind of a freak. But the games are still pretty good. Oh, where did Dressler at? There it is. Oh, my allergies decide to strike just as I'm about to finish up. Gav, who just spoke up in the chat, watched me play that game. We gotta figure out how to stream this for Zan. I still don't like the highlight on the foot. Maybe it'd be more of a cut across shadow. I'm gonna fiddle with it for a minute. Maybe it's more of a cut across thing. Because the light's coming like from above and the top. See, this is like, if this were a proper painting, I'd get a 3D render and see like where all the crazy hair tendrils are casting shadows and all that goodness, but I don't want to get that complicated with this. It's freaking chibi. No, not vibrance. Oh, no. Alright, so we're gonna lighten the shadow up. Knock up the saturation. I like this better, yes. That works better, yes. I like it. Okay, I think I'm stare at this for a second. Make sure I didn't miss anything important. I think she is done, you guys. Hooray! Now I'm gonna go play video games. So thanks for tuning in tonight, everybody who did tune in or lurked or whatever. If you like what I do, feel free to pitch in to my Patreon. Pitching in just $1 gives you access to a secret sketchbook where I share behind the scenes stuff and all sorts of other stuff, even free stuff. And also on Twitch you can hit subscribe and that gives me a little kickback. Everyone who's a Amazon Prime user should be able to get 1 free sub a month, so you can make that free sub me if you want to help me out. So my next stream is going to be on Monday, so I will see you guys then and hope you all have a great weekend. I'll be continuing with the work on more sticker designs. So until then, wish you all inspiration and have a good weekend. Good night.